Hey, welcome to my channel, Josh Gordon Music. This is a video for a new little small multi-effects unit I actually stumbled across last week from an Instagram post. I saw somebody playing with one of these, and it's by Sonicake, and it's called the Matribox. I don't know if it's the Matribox, the Matribox. Anyways, what it is a 2 foot switch, 1 expression pedal little multi-effects unit, and it has the usual goodies like the amp and cab sims and a whole bunch of effects. I have the desktop editing software open here on the screen, as you can see. So we're going to go through it, and we'll do some playing and whatnot. So yeah, this is to me, it's almost like, this channel, my channel is mainly Line 6 Pod Go. This is kind of like a really compact, scaled down version of this. Similar sounds. Now this doesn't have all quite the capabilities and details for tweaking parameters as, say, a Line 6 Pod Go. And I'm not meaning to make this a comparison video to the Line 6 Pod Go, but that's the closest thing I can think of. Maybe the Headrush MX5 would also be a close competitor to this. But this thing, here, I'll put a picture of it on the screen here. As you can see, maybe the picture doesn't tell you the size of it, but this is basically the size. It's not much bigger than, like, say, 2 Boss pedals put together, right? Easily fits in a gig bag. And it's got 2 foot switches, expression pedal, so it's kind of limiting, obviously, if you're going to use it as like a stomp mode. But we're going to go through some a preset that I created, and I'm using it in stomp mode. It has a small, tiny, screen for display, but you can, it's got enough buttons here. You've got a master volume, you've got a parameter control, and you can scroll through menu items. You've got a button that says global. It also has a drum machine, looping capabilities, a tuner if you hit both foot switches together, and then you have 3 knobs on the front here, to adjust settings and whatnot. And there's a couple other buttons, like a back, you're in the menu, hit back to get back to your screen you were at, and a save button. So it is pretty user-friendly. To be honest, I downloaded the manual, but I haven't even touched it yet. Now, I got this yesterday afternoon. Today is Thursday, May 11th, 2023. It's in the evening. So I've had this for about 24 hours, and I actually got it yesterday afternoon, about, 3 hours before a band rehearsal. It took me no time to dial in a quick little preset, using this in stomp mode and just using a few effects because I was running through an amp that's supplied by at the rehearsal facility. So I used it as a stomp box, and I dialed in this preset, and we're going to have it in full mode here when I give you a walkthrough of it with an amp and cab sim. But I turned the amp and cab sim off, turned the reverb off, and basically I have the two. I've designed the foot switches for one is for my drives. The other foot switch is for a delay, and then I've just, because it's a country rock trio band I play, I don't really use wah, so I made the expression pedal. I changed the parameters on that to make that a lead boost. So when you kick it full all the way, toe down, 100% volume boost, and when you have the heel down, it cuts it. I think I put it to about 60. So, anyways, we'll get through that. Now let's go to the back. Show you a picture of the back here. So the back has obviously a guitar input. Now there's 2 outputs. There's a left mono, and then there's a right. So this is fantastic for situations where you want to run, say, into an amp, and then you want to also run to front of house. Well, you can do that. Now we'll get to the settings here in the desktop software, but they do have a feature where you can turn off. You can choose which left or right output. You can turn off the cab. So that's kind of handy, but you're still stuck with an amp. So if you want to, run this into an amplifier, you're still going to have an amp block going. So that I didn't really like. It would have been great if you could just turn amp and cab block off, and then you're set, for one of these outputs to totally have a simulated sound signal going to front of house, and then you could turn both amp and cab blocks off and just have effects running into your amp. So that would be, something to consider, hopefully, Sonicake. But in any case, it's still a great feature to have. So, and continuing with the back, they have an auxiliary in, so you can plug your phone in or some kind of MP3 player or whatnot, so you can jam to tunes. Obviously, a headphone jack for monitoring. There's the USB port so that you can connect this to your either, if you're a Mac user, to your Mac or your MacBook, or if you're PC. Anyways, you connect it to your computer so that you can use this as an interface. I tested it tonight. Actually, the playthrough you heard at the start of the video, I used this into an iPad using a connector kit and whatnot. And it was great. Yeah, it was a great little interface and whatnot. And you have controls that you can, set USB recording levels and whatnot. So we're going to get to some, I'll give you a playing demo. And I must say, when using this last night, like I said, this was so user-friendly. I didn't even need the manual to dial in something. I don't even think it took me half an hour. Maybe, getting used to the Matribox desktop editor and whatnot, just playing with it. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty intuitive. And like I said, I had one of the greatest rehearsals last night with the tone I was getting from this. Now, again, using it in stop mode, very limited with 2 switches and an expression pedal, but that's all I needed. I just, run through the amp clean. I just needed some dirt, a lead boost, and then I chose to have some delay for my effect if I wanted to add that for some solos. So I was very impressed. One thing I don't, it's not a deal breaker, but it does not have an on-off switch. Okay, so you just you simply unplug it, it turns off. But still, I kind of maybe it's I'm one of those guys. I need a switch. I need an on-off. I need a power switch. Whatever, it's just a quirk, but all good. So let's look at the desktop editor here. But actually, I did promise I'd play. So here I dialed in. I'm using a Bogner Shiva amp and a cab, and we got some dirt on here, I think. Yeah. All right. So let's hear how it sounds. All right, so I kicked in the lead boost, the expression pedal there, and delay. So hopefully I think this sounds pretty great. So let's have a look, because there's a lot going on here, but it's not overwhelming. I didn't need the manual to navigate through this. So let's start around here. So obviously you got some factory presets. It's asking me, I did something, so I'll save it. Now this is one thing that I found with this. You got to do a lot of saving when you change stuff, but I think that's a good thing and a good habit to get into, because if you dialed in something you really like and you don't save it, you might be sad or heartbroken. Anyways, we don't want that. So saving it. So yeah, you have factory presets and user presets. Now I've changed the first 3, but they're both the same. So the list is the same, and you got, I think it's 99. Here, yeah, 99, so that's pretty cool, right? And up here, obviously, I think this is pretty self-explanatory for the drum machine. So it's, the volume and the BPMs, and I guess, oh wow, see, now you have all kinds of beats here. I haven't looked at the drum machine yet, but yeah, you have all kinds of stuff here. And, oh, by the way, if you like this video, leave a comment, and I'll, if you want to learn more about this, I'm going to learn more about this. I am not switching and abandoning line 6. That's my baby, the Pod Go, and definitely the Stomp XL and the Helix, my weapons of choice. But I must say, this thing for rehearsal, and I'm actually going to use it on my gig this weekend just to try it out. I just love how the size of it is. If I needed more effects and whatnot, because I like using these devices as in stomp mode as like pedal boards and whatnot. Because I guess maybe that's my old school nature. Coming from years of having a pedal board, I need switches. I need something to hit. Not like scenes or snapshots and whatnot, which are cool, and I use them sometimes too. I have used them at gigs, so everything's it's how you want to run things, how you want to run your ship. But anyways, where was I going with this? Jeez Louise. See, I lose my train of thought here. But yeah, this is so small. Like it's my two of my hands cover this thing, and just it's gonna make, I think, for an easier load in and tear down, and the less bells and whistles you have on stuff, the less things you have to troubleshoot. So, anyways, let's get back to our desktop software. So here, I guess, is a mode thing. So I'm kind of going with this too. So you could switch between preset mode, stomp mode. And now here's the hamburger menu thing here. Global settings. Firmware update. Now I haven't looked at the help, the language, the this stuff. I don't really, if you want to look at it, go for it. This I use the global settings. So I checked this out. So let's put that here. So your ins and outs, obviously you can have, your levels here. And this is what I was talking about, where it says no cab mode or left. So if you don't want a cab on the left, you click that, or you don't want a cab on the right. Now, as I said, though, this is great, but you still have this, the amp block here would be still on. And if you're running it to an amp, might not sound so good. However, if you're using maybe an FR, then maybe this will do the trick. Like if you're using, say, a Line 6 power cab, and you want to use, the one of the speaker voicings on it, like to make that amp in the room sound. So this might do the trick, or a certain situation where you don't need the cab block. But anyways, that's still pretty cool feature. And here, like I was doing some recording, so I adjusted the recording level. I was recording with that intro piece with an iPad. So you can do your recording levels here, your monitor levels, and this is great too. Like, so it looks like in record mode, you can, with your stereo outs, you can do a wet dry, or you can have both wet or both dry. So that's kind of neat for recording, and I like the sound of this thing. Like this, I haven't explored all of these amps by far because I've only had it for just over 24 hours. But man, the sound is really good. And I was, like I said earlier in this video, I was so happy with the tone I was getting. I was running it through a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe 4 and just using a couple of dirt pedals and a delay. And wow, the tone was incredible. I was very impressed. So now tap tempo mode, I haven't really looked at that. But again, you can download their whatever page manual it is and look at these things. But I don't really use tap tempo for my needs. I just like to have a certain style of delay setting, and that's all I need. But in certain cases, tap tempo, maybe there's an occasion where I want to slap back, so or a different type of thing. So that's kind of neat. So that's the global settings. So let's now obviously this is where you title stuff, and you can scroll through your presets here. Now expression pedal. Now this is very cool. I'll move this over here. Now this is where you'll see here, because I was using in stomp mode, I have it as a lead boost here. So I put the two effects blocks. Now you can have more. You can add 3 blocks here, I guess, effects blocks to do the trick. But I played around with it because I was at rehearsal, and I was actually set this up with my combo amp. I didn't have the amp and cab blocks on, so I set the expression pedal up here to basically, kill these things, or sorry, not kill them, to boost them. So, anyways, I've just played with these two columns, and like I said, I set it all the minimums there, 60, 60, 99, 99, and then the volume, the range. I still have to learn, lots about what's going on here, because I think I'm going to be using this a little more often, definitely for rehearsals. I mean, yeah, I had just shoved everything in a gig bag, a couple of cables, this thing, and I didn't know. Can't do that necessarily with the Pod Go, even though I've used it tons of times at rehearsals. Love that. I was just bringing something extra, but yeah, I'll tell you, it's just nice to just slap on a gig bag that has everything for a rehearsal. You're good to go, right? That's just me. But anyways, back to the expression. So yeah, I said it like this, and as I said, this kind of it did the job. Right? So it gave me the boost I was looking for. So I mean, I played around with the ranges. I mean, the max is 99. So anyways, that's kind of neat for the expression. Now, and obviously you can set this for, changing other parameters. This one was volume here. If I had maybe, let's say I wanted to put a delay, and then I wanted to change the mix, or I want to change the feed. So it's pretty killer there. I'll put that back to off. And then I'm going to hit save again, just because it seems to be a good thing to do with this, especially with this program. But that's how I set the expression pedal. So I thought that was cool for a lead boost. Now here's the foot switches. So the 2 foot switches, there's not much going on here. So this makes it easy for you. But yeah, so these are your blocks here, and then this, you can assign, obviously, from what you see, up to 3 of these blocks per foot switch. So for foot switch 1, the left, I assigned FX1 and FX2. Now FX1 is butter OD, and I forget which OD that is. I'll have to, and then I have another OD. It wouldn't let me do that. I have another OD, FX2, and that's a screamer. So I knew that's based off a tube screamer. All right, and then foot switch 2, the right one, I just have it controlling the delay. Right, so there's the foot switches, and then you see the 2 effects here, off, on. Okay, so that's cool. And then, yes, your preset BPM, preset volume, I upped mine to up to here. I was using the meters in Logic just to see. I like to see when I'm recording, I like the signal to be somewhere in between -9 and no more than -6 dB. I mean, I like it a little closer to -9, just to allow for headroom for, mixing and whatnot. So anyways, now this button here, okay, rename. I'm not going to rename it. All right, I think we've covered mostly everything. Now I know we're going to get to these blocks here. So this is a noise reduction. You got some drives. You can assign different things here. Now this FX1, FX2 seems to be pretty much a bunch of drives, which are cool, and compressors. Now look, there's an acoustic sim. You have wah. So so there's a few different effects that you guys have, a little bit of modulation here, and that's neat. So this would be the same. So to the amp block. Oh, and by the way, if you click on a block, you can move the order. Okay, so that I like that. That's pretty easy. That's neat. But amps, you have such a choice. You have like a Tweed Deluxe. Looks like a Bassman. Dark Double would probably be a twin. Caliph Star, so that's probably a mess of Boogie. They do have Jazz Chorus 120. Doctor, that's probably like a Dr. Z, and then you have your Plexis. So this covers a lot of amps, and look, you've got tons. And there's bass for all your bassists out there, and then you got an acoustic preamp down here. So this got a lot of, it's got, definitely for beginners, you have more than enough choices here. And I don't know the number of effects and amps and cab sims and whatnot, but it seems to be, a good amount that could rival something like the Headrush MX5 or Pod Go. I think there's more than enough here. And if we look at the cab, now, actually, let's go back to the amp and see. Now this is the thing here is there's not much in the way of parameters. It's like I haven't gone through all the amps, but this is generally the gist of it, a bright switch. But treble, this one is it just has treble and bass. Some of them have a mid, and then you have a master presence. So, if you're looking for more tweaking, more options like that, then you would go with something like a Line 6 Pod Go or the Headrush MX5. But if you want something simple or simpler, this is perfect. This is great. Like I like sometimes I like a little less parameters, and I don't think the Pod Go. I mean, at first it seemed a little daunting, and now I've been using it for a couple of years. I'm pretty comfortable with most of it, but it was refreshing to kind of come back and just see this. And it kind of forces you to really use your ears a little more, and the other things in conjunction, like the EQ in conjunction with the amp and the cab. That's what I kind of dialed in this tone with, and then to get it clean, because I started with it clean, and then I added some dirt, and then I don't have modulation for this one, but definitely delay and reverb. So, and then the cab. Now, see, you can, yes, if you were wondering, you can import IRs. So haven't done that yet. Again, I've just got this, and haven't had enough time to really sit with it. But yeah, the cab here, you don't have it, like, again, comparing to the Pod Go, you can't change the mic or the distance or the reflections, whatnot. But this is okay. One less thing to worry about, or a couple less things to worry about. EQ, you don't really have much choice here. You either have a guitar EQ or a bass EQ. And again, simple. So, but you still have some, you have some control here. I mean, you can increase volume, and these are your frequencies you get. But you see here, I slid some stuff around, and it did work, and it was noticeable, and it does help shape your tone. So not bad. Now choruses, I haven't looked at this. Look, there's a detuner, some trem, vibrato, phaser, so the basics. Delay. So yeah, I have a rack delay going on now. Again, some of these things will change, but they generally have a mix of feedback, a time, definitely a trails and some whatnot. So again, kind of similar to like the Pod Go edit and the parameters here, just less of them. And then the reverb. This one is just simple. It just has a mix and a decay. Now there's a few choices. There's, again, you got your room, hall. I liked room. I liked the hall. I played through them. The spring was good. I haven't gone through all these yet, but yeah, like, let's play this again, because this is I'm kind of glad I stumbled onto this thing, to be honest. I really like how small it is, and it suits my needs for a simple bar gig, and definitely rehearsal. What I really the core effects I need, or I want some good drive. I want clean, I want drive, and a light delay for ambiance for solos, and a boost. That's really all I need. And if if I'm doing let's say I have a couple of songs where, okay, I don't really need delay, but I need a chorus. Well, guess what? Just make another preset, and you just click on one of these buttons up and down, or you scroll here with this para button, it says, and you can get to your next preset for the next song, and you're good to go. So it's just that you don't have that big pedal board with all your choices staring you down right in the face. In a way, this kind of makes you just get focus, trim the fat. Get more to the playing, and then we're less worrying about the tap dance. So anyways, let's play it again, and then we'll close out this video. Okay, well, that is my, do we call it a review? I guess it's kind of half-assed. It's not all fancy and well thought out. I guess it was kind of just my honest review. Let's call it the working guitarist view of this new gadget. It's the Matribox by Sonicake, and I highly recommend it. And to boot, I'm in Canada. So I ordered it off Amazon, and it was 200 Canadian. and that's with taxes, and I got it. I guess it was imported from the U.S., so that's with some import. What a deal! $200. I mean, what is that? Like, what does this go for? 130 or something, maybe in the U.S. Unbelievable for this, and for the tones you get. It's not like, yeah, you won't be disappointed, folks, because you're thinking, hey, this isn't that expensive. How good can it be? Like, yeah, it's not. It's okay made. It's pretty sturdy and whatnot. It might not be the highest quality thing, but it sounds killer. It sounds killer, man. Like, I think this can rival the stuff, like even a quad cortex or maybe a fractal. It's not going to be the same, but spend some time, use your ears. If you do the right tweaking, spend the right amount of time, you can get some great tones out of this. That, okay, maybe it won't rival a fractal or a quad or even the line 6 stuff, but I think it could contend, because I like this tone I built and I can't wait to build some more. And no, I'm not abandoning the line 6 stuff. Again, that's still my main stuff that I'm going to be using. But again, this is a nice grab and go. It's I've seen a couple of reviews saying they refer to this as a pedal, and it's basically not much bigger, like I said, than a couple of guitar pedals, and you almost don't think that, hey, this isn't a modeler, but it is. So hopefully you like this. We'll call it the review, and yeah, check it out, man. If you're looking for a backup to your Primo modeler, and you don't want to break the bank, well, man, I'm sold on this. If this was lost or stolen or broke, I would go out and buy another one. That's how impressed I am with this thing. So I look forward to doing some more tones with it and seeing firmware updates and whatnot. So anyways, thanks guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you've stuck around this far, thanks so much. God bless ya, or whoever you worship or follow. Anyways, bless yous. Yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. I want to thank you all again. We've made it over the 1K sub mark. I think we're now at 1,026, so that's great. We keep growing. Just need to get those watch hours up. We got less than 300 to go in that 365-day period. So yeah, we're getting there. So I'm going to keep doing these videos anyways, no matter what. So there will be more Line 6 Pod Go videos coming, everybody. And I think I got to get back to learning some Stomp and Helix LT stuff too. So anyways, thanks again for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.